We are live with Dripko, Ferrospace.
What's going on? What's going on? Dripko in the building.
What's going on, people? How y'all doing?
One Piece chapter 1069 breakdown. I would say I want to say one of the recent best chapters, but we've been getting a bunch of bangers, bro. So it's hard to even say that. I think it's just something I realized as well, that in 1069, or just in Egghead in general, a lot of newer fans seem to not be as invested as like the older fans for Egghead specifically. I don't know if y'all noticed that, where it's like I'm seeing people be like, yo, it's chapter was mid, chapter. I'm like, yo, this chapter was fantastic. What are people talking about? But I realized some of the like newer viewers, they kind of like not as deep in the lore of it. We've finally been introduced to Vegapunk, one of the greatest minds in One Piece, from replicating devil fruits and lineage tractors to climate-changing gadgets and giant robots. One of the greatest minds in One Piece must have one of the largest databases for information, and with the world government sneaking its nose around, he must have one of the greatest firewalls. And if he was in our world, I'm sure he'd use today's sponsor, Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is the world's most transparent VPN provider with over 30 million downloads. They never record or store user data, and their no logs policy have been proven multiple times in court. Private Internet Access hides your IP address and encrypts your internet connection. This way, it shields your digital life from the eyes of your internet service provider, network administrators, and government censors. Private Internet Access also comes with loads of entertainment benefits. This VPN works with all major streaming services, so you can access more content than ever before anywhere in the world. Plus, it's one of the few VPNs that support person-to-person file sharing. This VPN is 100% open source, and their code is public so that anyone can take a look under the hood and examine just how secure and private our service really is. Almost no other VPN is this transparent, and they come with a wide range of payment methods, including credit cards, PayPal, gift cards, and even cryptocurrency.
A lot of these guys became fans during the Wano arc too. So
okay. So like going from Wano and everything that went on there to now, it kind of feels like a drop, I guess.
Yeah, us OG fans love the Straw Hats Luffy, together. You know, we love the Straw Hats together.
Luffy versus Kaido, like, and that whole battle, Gear 5, some of the highest peaks in the series. I think like going into this arc, the fall off, like showing like, a lot of fans are not don't mess with it that much. Of course, there are people that came into Wano, you know, with like power scaling perspective, like.
Yeah, it's tough. But I mean, I think it's been absolutely fire, and this chapter is no different.
Facts.
We can start off with a cover page.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, Braga, this chapter is probably the best chapter since Law versus Blackbeard. I would say that.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I
agree. And you know what's interesting? I find that interesting.
Let's talk about it.
Because a lot of One Piece fans will tell you that power scaling ain't important, right? But it seems like the chapters that like blow up or people think are the best ones typically has like some type of power interaction or transformation or bounty, right? Those are the chapters that typically
go crazy,
blow up. They'll go crazy. Yep. So is it that it matters, or is it just like because we don't get it as often? Because even in this chapter, I remember before the chapter came out, I talked about Rob Lucci not getting one shot and, you know, being able to hang with Luffy a little bit, and people were mad, but this was the perspective I took, where I was like, all right, I'm not looking at it from a power scaling perspective, because we know what's going to happen from a power scaling perspective. But Oda's probably not going to care about that. And it was surprising to see how many people that was caring about power scaling then saying, well, Luffy should one-shot Rob Lucci. I'm just like, wait, now we care about power scaling? Now it should be some semblance of continuity there, when I'm just like, before y'all ain't care about it? How did y'all perceive that?
Well, I'll be honest here. I feel like me personally, I got into One Piece because of power scaling. Like I got into One Piece watching Marine 4 videos. So...
Okay, I get that perspective. And a lot of people did, but they don't want to admit it.
Yeah, 100%. They don't want to admit it because they also love the reveals too, like the shocking theories and reveals and like Im-sama and like stuff like that, where like people's are getting like their ankles broken and whatnot. But personally, I believe power scaling will always be a thing in One Piece because we don't see a lot of fights, like major fights.
Yeah.
Like we get a lot of teasers, we get a lot of clashes, so we're hungry to see that kind of content.
Yeah, I think it's a lack of fights in One Piece that makes. Because like when you think about power scaling, hype always comes with it, like on the side. Like we look at these bounties, you know, these legends. It's like, oh, how strong are they? They got a 5 billion berry bounty. But I think it's mostly pertaining to hype, because even with the reveal in this chapter, it's not hype because it's like, oh yeah, the secret about devil fruits have been revealed. There's not hype there. It's just mystery, more mystery. So I feel like that's what's happening here with like a lot of these new chapter reveals that we're getting here. It's good, but not as hype.
I think it's absolutely insane.
Oh, it is insane.
With Mads, let's start a cover story with Mads. It seems like so the scans are saying Lufeld. I know for a fact in Dressrosa the official was saying Dufeld. Yeah. So we got to see what the official says, but I guess we can say Lufeld here. But this seems like it's a flashback, right? And I'm not sure if, I guess he was the sponsor of Mads back in the day. How did y'all perceive this cover page? Because it was a little confusing.
Yeah.
Well, be honest, you can go, Pharaoh.
Yeah, he's the loan shark dude, right? Dufeld.
Right.
To be honest, I didn't think much of it. I just thought like maybe he stole one of the ships that they had before, because maybe Mads was loaning money from him. And like he took his property back when they disbanded or something. That's what I was kind of thinking happening here. But it looks like it's either a flashback or it's right now. I'm thinking it's right now.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
People think it's a flashback because this character got exploded, I think, or like killed by Stussy or something.
He didn't die though, right? Explosion.
We don't know because she was Shigano.
Yeah, you Shigano. Yeah.
And the thing is, Mads. Mads is over now, so it's like.
True.
I mean, let's be honest. Shigan is one of the more
devastating
attacks. They got two bodies. Didn't Izo die from Shigan?
He did.
So we gotta be careful. So maybe he did die. We gotta wait and see. But yeah, Mads is now. It doesn't exist. But I'm thinking like if it is now, that means he has the ship and he's still rolling around with the ship. So a flashback makes sense. That it's crazy to see the advertisement on the side presented by Lufeld, like 100%. Like this dude is like he's the person that's sponsoring it, and so like he's like, I need my name on the side.
And you guys remember like watching TV shows, you would see like people like the start of a flashback, they'll kind of like have that bubble and then go into the flashback. So last chapter we had like them thinking it back on Mads, Caesar, and Judge. So it looks like this is now the actual flashback. So
we're gonna get the Mads flashback. I mean, it would make a lot of sense getting the Mads flashback here. And remember last time, right? We saw the Blackbeard and them going for pudding tying into the actual story.
Exactly.
It'd be insane if we saw like what was going on with Mads ties into the actual story for what's going on in with Vegapunk, if they get into the lineage factors and how they basically the core of even what the Seraphim could be. That would be dope. And I think that's where Oda's going with it. Yeah. So definitely a flashback.
And Ichiro Oda has been like, how to say this, a lot of times now lately he's been making the cover story like relevant to the actual story. He did it with like Caribou and X-Drake and all that happened there.
Recently with Kuzan as well.
Bartolomeo. He did it with Bartolomeo too, and now he's even doing like to the same chapter. Kuzan putting the same chapter. So I think it's the final saga. He's trying to
he's
make
trying
things
to
connect.
Jumble everything up and just
I don't want to say cramming information, but he's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's trying to make sure that we get everything that we need, so it's somewhat of a concise story. So once we get to the chapter, last chapter left off with Luffy seeing Rob Lucci. Right, I'm not sure if y'all saw the thing on Twitter where the dude,
the animation,
the dude drew this diagram. The dude drew the diagram to make it seem like Rob Lucci used Conqueror's Haki. That's why Luffy was sweating. Hilarious. So Luffy sees Rob Lucci, and I like Chopper's reaction because we have a Chopper. I'm sure Rob Lucci, there's nightmares there.
For sure.
But what do y'all think about that interaction? Because they throw a little joke in there because Rob Lucci's like, what are you talking about? Luffy's like, what are you doing here? He's like, this is a government island, right? He's like, oh, I'm the one that shouldn't be here. And then, of course, Luffy gets mad that he basically punched Atlas, and Atlas is the one that fed him. How do y'all feel about that interaction initially, I guess?
Well, to be honest here, that interaction, it just made me think about Annie's Lobby. It was like a callback, pretty much. And like, how to say this, like, pretty much Annie's Lobby, Rob Lucci, Luffy, like it makes you think back on where they are now, pretty much, like how they're interacting
how
now.
far
It's
they've
been
gone.
700 chapters ago. They were
Yeah.
introduced. Lucci was introduced. You know.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I like most about One Piece is like meeting or re-meeting like villains in the pre-time skip. Rob Lucci was one, if not the biggest villain pre-time skip in in the Straw Hats perspective. So like this encounter here was like it just brings back memories, man, of like Enies Lobby and those two meet. This was it was
Yeah.
a cool moment, and it's like nostalgia factor as well.
No, it really felt good. It really felt good seeing Rob Lucci again. I know every time we saw Rob Lucci in the story, it was cool because it's like we remember everything we went through with him in Enies Lobby Water 7. And so for it coming full circle here, even with Kaku being there is great. And I think what I loved the most about this moment was that it was almost like a reminder, like, hey, bro, Luffy's an emperor, right? It was, you had Kaku saying, all right, Lucci, there's the Straw Hat Pirates, they got Bonnie, but Luffy's an official emperor now.
Yep.
We cannot engage with him without orders. I'm like, okay, that's mind blowing considering where we came from, right? But Luffy don't care. Luffy's like, yo, take Bonnie, Jinbei. I got this, right? And Stissy and Rob and Kaku's like, yo, we gotta contact the Navy. We gotta talk to them because this could start a war. We can't do something like this. And then Luffy, he sees Atlas, and now he's mad because you know what I'm saying. He's like, we can't do that. Then we get into Rob Lucci versus Luffy, but before that we get some Marine stuff, and the Marines, they finally know that the Straw Hats are on Egghead, and of course the kind is behind the desk again. How do y'all feel about this entire interaction, knowing Kizaru as well is on his way to Egghead?
Now this is hype because I feel like every time they show the Kainu, he's always like telling Kizaru, "Chill, bro. There's too much. There's too much going on. Don't leave HQ." But
too much at stake.
But finally we come to a point where it's like a Kainu. Kizaru is not even in the scene. He's already gone. So we already know things have been initiated. So this was great actually seeing like, someone's actually on the move, Kizaru. And Akainu, well, he's still, hothead as usual, but I think he's more level-headed than a lot of people would think. But yeah, Kizaru going to Wano is Egghead is actually insane. Definitely hype for sure.
I feel like they're also emphasizing that he left before they got the report that Straw Hats are on.
The Straw Hats were there, right? So why was he going there, y'all think?
I'm thinking that he has big connections with Vegapunk and Sentamaru, so like he's probably going in there just to make sure that things go down right when it comes
that
to
they're okay.
Yeah, and like things go down right in a sense of like, how to say this, since he has a connection with them and CP0's job is to assassinate Vegapunk, he has to make sure that things go right in a sense if they need help. That's what I was thinking. But the thing is, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if Kizaru, how to say this, to see Sentamaru on the ground, see CP0. I don't think he would do it, but there's a chance that he doesn't really fight the Straw Hats or Zoro, like people are saying. He might go at it with Rob Lucci. I don't know. It's like not a big chance, but it's Kizaru. We never know what this guy's going through his head,
Yeah, when it comes to like the connection thing, I think there's actually more because I think it was on your stream, after stream. I think Zach said something about like just because he calls him uncle doesn't mean that there's any like real relationship there. Well, the thing is,
it doesn't have to be like an official relationship. It could be an honorific.
But I think there could be something there because like based on like their interactions.
Because didn't he call Vegapunk Gramps?
Yeah, he called him Gramps, but we did learn in this chapter that Vegapunk actually helped him in the past, right?
Right.
Pretty much raised him up.
So it could be something the reason why.
Yeah, there might be a reason. Kizaru may have done something in the past for him. It might be related to him in some sort of situation. We don't know, but I think there's more. Because it's this interaction that we're seeing here is sort of the same that happened to Subodi. It was him. Kizaru was rolling with Sentomaru. We're seeing that it's sort of there's Oda is pushing these two characters together again. I feel like there could be more to Sentomaru and Kizaru's relationship. We do also know that he has obviously ties to Vegapunk because of the lasers. The lasers that the Pacifista used are from more than likely Kizaru's ability.
And we even see it like when it comes to Sentamaru, how he talks to Kizaru, like, yo, like Kizaru can't work the Denden Mushi, or Kizaru was late to go fight Silver Israeli. He's like, yo, it took you so long. Like he talks to him so casually that it makes me think that these guys
around each other.
Yeah, maybe when Kizaru and the Pacifista and the laser was going on with Vegapunk, there has to be a connection there.
Yeah. I think Kizaru what's going to happen is not what we expect, right? There's a lot of things that we expect to happen, and we want them to happen, and it's going to be something just completely out of left field. I like the idea that Kizaru has ties to some of the people that we've been talking about, like Vegapunk and Sentomaru, so that him coming there, it does save again and hold off the fight between Luffy and Kizaru, even though that's what I would want, right? I want Kizaru to fight versus Luffy.
100%.
But I think it'd just be maybe a slight clash, and he finds out that Luffy is fighting against CP0. Then he's like, okay, all right, CP0, y'all got to chill now, because now y'all messing with my people. But here's the tough part. Him interfering with CP0's mission, how does that go over with the world government?
And that's the thing, yo. Kizaru's the kind of guy who he always, like, the Celestial Dragon got punched, he came there right away. Like, he's not the type of guy who goes against the,
like, he don't be caring. He don't be caring, bro.
But this is the thing that we're seeing a lot now. CP0 and the Marines, they work under the same people, you know. So, but they don't work under each other. Like, CP0 doesn't report to the Marines. Marines don't report to CP0. So we're seeing that with Dressrosa, how they covered up Doflamingo, and it kind of was pissed off to the Gorosei, yelling at them. So this could be another situation where the Admiral, Kizaru, and CP0, they're on the same side, but they're like two different coins, two different sides of the coin. So
yeah,
I think that personally, Kizaru, I don't think he's gonna betray the world government, but I do think that there's gonna be like not as smooth as it could have been.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, again, I want Kizaru versus Luffy. That'd be amazing, but he left before the Straw Hats were there, so that's not the reason why he left. He's more than likely going for Vegapunk because he probably got wind of the assassination. And what I was thinking as well is like, okay, could the Marines try to save Vegapunk for their forces? And it's like a weird thing because they can't save Vegapunk because the Gorosei, they want him dead.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it could get really messy, but it takes away from the story if Kizaru helps the Straw Hats, I think.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the main antagonists left in the story. So if he goes and he helps the Straw Hats and fights against Rob Lucci, it's like, wait, what's going on here? You know, so
this is the one time where I actually wish for a clash rather than a full fight, because I don't want to see Kizaru get defeated.
Oh, you think Kizaru would lose to Luffy right now?
I think Luffy or Kizaru, they're not gonna make Luffy lose to Kizaru. So if Luffy's not gonna lose, it's like if there's a full fight and someone has to lose, they're gonna make Kizaru lose for the story. I feel like.
I think for the story, the Admiral has to win, right?
But that's the thing. Luffy just newly appointed a Yonko losing to an Admiral, it would hurt his like reputation. You know, if he lost.
No, that's true. You're right. You're right about that. So but if the Admiral loses before the final arc,
exactly. It's kind of like a lose-lose situation. So that's why I don't want them to fight. That's why I don't want them to fight.
They can fight and show, like, you know what I'm saying, but nobody can lose here. Nobody can lose here.
Exactly.
That brings us to the Rob Lucci versus Luffy interaction. How did y'all view that interaction? Like, what did you think? Just objectively, how did you view it? Were you surprised at how good Rob Lucci was doing? Do you think Rob Lucci even did good? How y'all feel about that?
Now, the fight initially, like, first of all, the reveal was fire. Like, you know, this chapter essentially confirmed that, you know, Rob Lucci is awakened, and then we got more details to that. But I think this sort of portrayal for Rob Lucci was sort of for, again, story reasons. We talked about this before. Whereas, you know, Oda is just highlighting what Vegapunk is saying with like visual depiction of Luffy and Lucci's fight. So I think 80% of it is like story purposes, and like 20% of it is actual battle power for Lucci. So I don't think what's going on screen is totally like totally for story purposes. I do think that Rob Lucci more likely got stronger, and you know we're seeing his powers here, that he's awakened as well. So he did get stronger during the 2-year time skip. So I think, again, most of it is story purposes, but I do think that we can't actually just ignore what's actually happening on screen at the same time. But yeah, I think
100%.
Yeah. Well, it should be.
I feel like this chapter was like a Rob Lucci chapter. It was just to make him look good. This chapter, Oda makes Luffy go Gear 5th right away. Oda gives him awakening. Like, we just had an arc where we see all these amazing Zoans and none of them are awakened. Only Luffy, right? So I feel like he just wants to make Rob Lucci look good here because of like Rob Lucci's connection to Enies Lobby. Rob Lucci as a character has always been like a very powerful character, a genius since the age of 13. He joined CP9 as the strongest CP9 ever of all time. So this chapter, honestly, is just a Rob Lucci to make him look good. But I was surprised. To answer your question, I was surprised that he did this well against Gear 5th.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are surprised. I think for me, I wasn't that surprised because it was just like it's not about Rob Lucci's strength,
Yeah.
and I want to get that across to people. It's not about how strong Rob Lucci is at this point, right? That's not the point of it. The whole point of this is to set up that conversation between Vegapunk and the Straw Hats, right? For the Straw Hats to see the form, for Vegapunk to give us that quick lore dump about Devil Fruits, and for Rob Lucci to have a quick showcase. Even in the midst of it, Oda did show and portray, I think rightly so, that Luffy is still on another level. But at the end of the day, Rob Lucci could never get one shot and overwhelmed right away. And even for Luffy's Gear 5, I don't think he has full control of it yet because he's playing around, right? I think Luffy's fucking around. Probably not using Haki, Advanced Conquerors, none of that. And so that's part of the drawback now, right? Because remember Vegapunk or Shaka said, for Devil Fruits that are awakened, what he said, they tend to overwhelm the user's mind, right?
Yeah.
The Zoan powers, right? Most awakened Zoan powers tend to overwhelm the user's mind. That's why the Impel Down Zoan guards were they
lost their personality. Yeah,
they didn't have a personality, right? So for Luffy, I think Gear 5 and Nika being as goofy and as free as it is taken over his mind, and it takes a while for him to kind of get on his get back right. Yeah. And so once he gets it takes a while for him to adjust. Once he adjusts, it's gonna be over. Yeah. But even then, I think Rob Lucci still has more to go. So even next week, even if Luffy knocks Rob Lucci out, it may be a situation where Rob Lucci definitely comes back because I think he has a higher purpose in the story. Oda giving Rob Lucci an awakening box is interesting because a lot of people are looking at Kaido like, all right, Kaido, we didn't get a box for Kaido. I'm not sure if you guys saw the theory about awakening where Kaido wasn't awakened because his mind and body were not aligned because he wanted to die. And therefore his body caught up, but his mind didn't because he said for an awakening, that's when your mind and body catches up. So that could be the reason why Kaido is not awakened. But I think it's interesting that Oda give us specifically Rob Lucci awakened box. And he chose the perfect person, I think, for awakening Rob Lucci because we saw him before fight All Out and we saw his form. So he brings it back and he uses somebody that we've seen before and gives him an awakening form. And what do y'all think about that cloud sash, that fire sash for him? What do y'all think about that thing that he has? Does that mean anything? Yamato and Luffy has
I think like that fire sash does mean something because it's too like you don't just do that by accident, right? When it comes to awakening, and I feel like every awakening like has similarities. Like Paramecia's we saw with Doflamingo and Katakuri, there's little similarities there too with their awakening, right? But the thing I'm confused about is more so mythical Zoans. I'm thinking Kaido not being awakened, even the way Luffy awakened was different than Rob Lucci, as him being a mythical Zoan. And now we look at characters like Marco, Sengoku, like now I'm looking at every single mythical Zoan and I'm getting more confused about awakening. So when it comes to Zoans, of course. So that's my thoughts on that. But when it comes to Rob Lucci, I was surprised, but I feel like this was perfect for Rob Lucci when it comes to his clash with Luffy. I think it was perfect. And I think that, how to say this, Rob Lucci is not gonna get the Bellamy treatment, yo. He's not gonna get the Bellamy treatment. So that's what I think right there.
Yeah, I think like the sash is like the new like thing that we use for like Zoan awakenings now because this chapter is confirmed that actually the at this point in the story we only have 2 confirmed awakened Zoans, which is Luffy and Rob Lucci, right? And so it just happened so that these 2 happen to have that sash. So it's looking like this is the new sort of image thing that Oda is going to use for like awakened Zoans. But I don't know if that's going to be the case for everybody that we see because I don't know if Yamato is actually awake. So it's weird right now. There's a lot of questions to be asked for sure.
So do you guys think Kaido and Yamato are not awakened? Do you guys think that?
I think Yamato. I think they both are. Personally, I think Oda's saving some things for it to be revealed, and I think he may go back to Kaido and his awakening and why he's not awakened.
Because I did hear that like if he awakened Yamato and Kaido, it would have kind of took away from Luffy's awakening reveal. I heard some people say that.
That's what people were saying. I don't think so. There are ways you could subtly stop it, but I don't think so. I mean, I do think they are awakened though. I think Kaido specifically is awakened as well. But I mean that entire back and forth again, it's not about strength. This is just nostalgia. Oda's even 1-to-1 copying old panels.
Yeah,
Like Lucci and Luffy clash. It's just a copy of an old panel, and Vegapunk giving a breakdown of Devil Fruits. Now, Vegapunk is basically saying that Devil Fruits, for the most part, are manifested, and they are the object of people's desires. And that's why the sea rejects them, because they are not natural occurrences. How do y'all feel about what Vegapunk's theory, quote unquote, is? Because he's Vegapunk, the authority on Devil Fruits. So it's really fact. How y'all feel about that?
I'll be honest here. This had me confused, yo, because this guy's a scientist. He's like the smartest guy, 500 years ahead of humans and all that. But then I'm like, this is some spiritual stuff. Like this is some deeper stuff when it comes to the One Piece verse. You know, he even mentions God in his speech. You know, so this was a lot for me. I'm kind of in the wait and see for what he expands on the Devil Fruit ability, because right now I even got more confused than I didn't know nothing, you know, when I was ignorant about Devil Fruits.
Nah, I understand that 100%. What about you, Ferro?
I actually like the idea, because like it fits like the headcanon that I had, because I think I've seen a bunch of like Devil Fruit theories and like the origins of Devil Fruit, but there's the key thing that I think a lot of that like killed a lot of theories was the Paramecia class. Because it had all these weird devil fruits. Like, wait, how is this possible? Like, how can some of these devil fruits exist? And like the fact that it's like something that's created out of the mind of a person, it makes a lot of sense why the Paramecia. Because there's just such a variety within that class. And when it comes to the Mother Nature thing, I like that too, because it kind of fits like the sea being the embodiment of what is natural, and then these manifestations being like something that shouldn't exist. So that's how they kind of counteract each other. I actually like that, really like that Oda talked about. But again, all of this is actually a theory, so we don't actually know if some of it's true or all of it's true. I think some of it is true, but there's still some missing pieces that Oda hasn't actually delivered on yet.
Yeah. No, I think the part that's true is where they came from. It's about people's desires, and they were manifested. Now the thing is, who were these people that did this, right? These special people. And then what was the situation? Was it a dire situation where they needed it at that time? Yeah. The comment I keep seeing is that there's somebody out there that desired to have a jacket that they could wear. People. And so it's a very unique thing, because it's not just, there's a devil fruit tree in Mario Joa, right? It's telling you that the One Piece world is not normal. It's not what you expect it to be. Everything that you expect, turn it on its head, and that's probably what it is. And so it's going to be mythical. It's going to be something that people thought of, something made up. And basically Oda's saying just to open your mind. A little bit. Like, don't go in expecting some logical, scientific. He's like, I'm going to give you science, right? I'm going to give you the Seraphim, like he gave us this chapter, Mihawk, Boa, and Jinbei. I'm going to give you the Seraphim, but we're going to have it's a magical world. It's a magical, just fun, just out of this world, like we're mind-blowing shit.
That's why it was so impactful that Vegapunk was the guy who was saying it, because he's all about science. So the fact that he's bringing it up when it comes to this world is so amazing.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, what's the One Piece, yo? Is One Piece gonna be similar to this?
I mean, we gotta open our mind to that. We got 100%, to. Vegapunk, listen. Vegapunk, like you said, the authority on everything. And for him, he thought the Kaido's Devil Fruit, it was a failure because it wasn't the same color. So even though he understands where they came from is a phenomenon, he still understands them enough to recreate it. Because S. Bear has the pawpaw fruit.
And S. Puma has, Jinbei has the swim fruit, right?
But so they gave a swim fruit to as shark, right? So another thing that we can talk about before we get out of here, because we want to keep this shorter than usual. The hierarchy as far as controlling the Seraphim. How'd y'all feel about that? Because basically you got the command hierarchy. Because it's weird because they said this is the pacifista command hierarchy. Okay. So, do you think that they're considering with the Seraphim as well, or is it just like, this is what it used to be with the Pacifista?
I think this is
because
Might be
because it says Pacifista
yeah.
hierarchy. Because these aren't Pacifista.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what is it going to be different with the Seraphim? And shout out to my guy Quality. Quality pointed it out to me, saying, okay, why did they specifically say Pacifista and not Seraphim? Where it's like the 5 elders, then you have Dr. Vegapunk and the satellites, then you have Sentomaru and anybody with an authority chip, which I think is genius for them to have that setup. But they didn't specify exactly Seraphim, so we got to wait and see with that. Y'all have any thoughts on that specific thing?
I feel like it makes sense. It was Sentomaru was he was kind of like always leading the Pacifista during the Marineford War.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. He was there Sabaody with that too. And honestly, I believe the biggest thing I'm looking at is the Gorosei, that they're at the top, yo. So I feel like this is closer and closer to every fan like that wants to see the Gorosei in action. Like just seeing them walk in with the Pacifista, the Seraphim would be crazy as a fan. And they actually fight? Damn.
Yeah, it would be dope. I think, again, and something as well to point out is that we saw in previous chapters, I think door 5 and 6 were still closed, right? And in this chapter, or last chapter, doors 1 and 2 opened for S Shark and S Snake, or S Hawk and S Snake, and S Shark was already out. I think it was door 4. So door 5 and 6 is still there,
which should be
that means
Flamingo and
should be S Flamingo and S Crocodile.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
And there.
So right now we have.
Yeah, and there is a possibility of
Fern.
like other individuals being like created by, right? We don't necessarily know if this is like
and
the only thing that they Vegapunk has created. He might have like a back door where it's like there's a S Kaido in there or something like that. Maybe, but here's the thing as well. We got a G14 that's up the street, right? So I would not be surprised if some Marines make their way to Egghead because of what's going on right now. Yeah.
You know, if an admiral is sent there, they're probably all the forces are gonna be notified, and people are probably gonna go over to Egghead. So I wonder if once Helmepo finds out that Luffy is over there, if he decides to go, then he lets Luffy know. He tells Luffy about Kobe. You know what I'm saying? Where he goes over there, and then I'm gonna stand on it. I still think my boy Smoker is gonna make an appearance in this arc. He has to. He has to, bro. He has to. I think that's how Oda ends off the year, man. Just a Smoker, bro. He's not even gonna show us Smoker's face yet. We just gonna see the cigar.
We're just gonna see smoke. We're gonna see Smoker, and
we're just gonna see the cigar.
Listen. If I see Smoker in a panel and he's like, "Yo, I want all the smoke, yo."
Oh God. I'm like, he's top 1. Nah, listen. Smoker is one of our favorite characters for a long time in the story, and so him being absent since Punk Hazard, right? No, well, we saw him in Dressrosa, I believe.
Yeah,
I think we saw a panel of him in Dressrosa. That's when we found out he was going to go see Vegapunk. So he has to be somewhere around here. Tashigi's at G14. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Smoker should be somewhere around here. Would not be surprised if he's here. Seeing Smoker, Rob Lucci again, and Luffy in the same spot, that would be amazing. But overall, I think, again, chapter 10 out of 10. Any final thoughts, guys?
This is a fire chapter, honestly.
It's a fire chapter. I want to say
a lot of reveals. The Devil Fruit origin is finally being revealed after about 25 years in the making.
We gotta pay respect, Fair. We gotta pay respect to Sentomaru, bro. We gotta at the last page.
So guys, don't forget to click on the description link to get the special discount private internet access is granting to our channel users. This application protects your data while you browse and give you full access to all blocked content on the internet for $2.11 a month only. Totally risk-free, so check it out. Link in the description. He's not dead, bro. He's not dead. I don't know. That was a Shugan. A Shugan can kill people. What about a Shugan?
This is a
I don't think he's dead, but there's a hand. There's a full hand, but we'll see. He should have the strongest defense, he said, in the world. So I hope he did something to protect against it. But again, overall, a fire chapter. Appreciate Dripko and Vero for coming through, man.
No problem.
We might be pulling up with a prediction video. Definitely that's necessary on the break week and a bunch of other exciting stuff. So if you guys enjoy the content, Dripko and Ferro's channel will be in the title. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.